beater?
I have a bone to pick with Optimum and their shitty friggin' internet service. So I think, oh geez, I'm hearing it in my head now. Okay, let's give it a second to get some people back into the stream as I try to get my bearings about me. Friggin' internet. Annoying. How are you doing over there, Green Bean? David Gerard dropped in. He said MLF/Flacco deep shots. Michael LaFleur, Flacco deep shots on 4th and short twice. Nice. How you feeling about that, Green Bean?
Okay, hold on. Let me see what he said here. He said Flacco deep shots on. Oh my God, with an empty backfield, David. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm talking about. Like we need 3 feet. Like this is I like to bring things back like to reality. We say, oh, it's a yard. A yard is 3 feet, and actually it was a short yard. So we're talking about 2 feet. What's a better way to approach needing to get 2 feet? Like a quick little play, like maybe a running back, maybe a quarterback sneak, maybe a quick slant, 2 steps, boom, boom, done. 2 feet. That is this far. That's this, 24 inches. That's what we're looking at. So what LaFleur does is he sends 5 wide, including tight ends. Everybody's on the line, and he has a long 7-step drop play. You know how much has to go right for that to work? And then he throws it. It doesn't, Flacco's been missing people all day, and he missed it, and it's over. It's like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it seems ridiculous. And sure, 3rd down and 4th down, we did that. So I don't know. This is what I mean when I say, overthinking it, outthinking himself. It's the same thing. Brian Schottenheimer he did that for us numerous times at the wrong time. And LaFleur, who I don't hate, by the way, I just think he's outthinking himself. And that was totally stupid. There was no reason to do that. No reason.
All right. I've got some of the super chats from the previous stream up, but I can't pull them up because I had to reboot the stream. So bear with me here. Edward Ziv says, who is defensive coordinator next year? I don't know if it's going to be Ulbrich. He's going to have to turn it around real quick to make that work. Big Dog says, the offense makes the defense look worse. The scores look different in every game if we score the ball and don't put the defense in bad spots. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think there's something to be said for playing from behind. So you're not going to be able to pin your ears back because other teams are going to run on you more. Now, that wasn't the case this past week. They passed plenty on us, but I do think the offense has made the defense look worse because we are not scoring touchdowns. Green Bean, Correct. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, think about this, dude. Think about if we just scored touchdowns instead of field goals, we win. That's it. It was 28. 20. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like, dude, when your defense, who struggled in the first half, let's not take that away, right? But they came out in the second half and they clamped down. Guys like C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams and Quincy Williams and Sheldon Rankins, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but he had one of his best games as a Jet. He had 7 tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for a loss. He was all over the place. So when you look at that, and then they're getting off the field and the offense comes on and there's a strip sack. And then, the offense comes on and it's up and 3 down and 3. And then it's like it puts the defense in that much worse of a position and it makes it that much harder because they're on the field all damn day. And then let's not forget about momentum. I mean, they know when they give the ball back, when they end the drive, they know they're going to be back on the field in 3 minutes. So it's like, what's the big deal? There is no more energy. It sucks the life out of the team. And I think a lot of that had to do with Flacco. It really did. He was off. He was flat out missing people that were open. But in addition to that, man, LaFleur didn't do anything to help in real time what the problems were, what we were seeing on the field. Namely, Connor McDermott was a big one. He did very little to help him during the game. And, again, obviously we were talking about, the 3rd and 4th and short. It's like, what? I don't understand. Like, we're not helping. He's not helping the team. He's making it harder. And therefore, we're putting the defense in a very bad position. And what do we expect? What do we expect? And that's not taking them off the chopping. That's not taking them off the fire, Ryan. But it's still, we're not helping them.
Matt Zizelman comes in and says, how about a positive for a change? AVT is playing at an all-pro level. AVT is absolutely our best offensive lineman right now, and I'm very happy that Joe Douglas made the trade up to get him because, where would we even be without him? We'd be in a world of hurt. MC Lean comes back. I was a little confused with his OTS comment before. He means over the shoulder. That's what that means.
Oh, somebody said outside the sticks. I'm like, I don't know. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, that's
outside one. Over the shoulder. All right. You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't really make fun, but I kind of, I was like, whatever. That's good.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry.
I was confused. Not gonna lie. Dax Milne's mom drops in. Dax Milne is the
Yes,
Zach Wilson's girlfriend's new boyfriend. So Zach got with his mom, maybe. Drops in, says, who is active for Sunday first, Mims or Huff? It better be Huff. It really, really needs to be Huff. What do you think, Mims or Huff?
Probably Huff. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that this coaching staff just has a hard on for Mims, you know what I mean, in the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like they just don't like him. I mean, like you look at guys like LaMarcus Joyner or like Corey Davis or like John Franklin Myers or all these guys, dude, they're Ty Johnson. They're making way more mistakes, much more costly mistakes than Denzel Mims ever did. And Denzel Mims is on the sideline and can't get into the damn game. And so I don't know what it is. So, I mean, I'm just at a point where I've kind of accepted, like, it's this staff. Like, here's what I want to say to people. Do we agree with all of their personnel decisions? We're talking about the rotation. We don't like that. We're talking about the lack of assistance with the protections when you have certain weaknesses that present themselves during the game. We don't like that. Did we like the fact that they kept Ty Johnson over Tevin Coleman? No, we didn't like that. Ashton Davis, all the things that we've seen. There are so many instances where we don't really agree with their personnel decisions. They don't make sense. So why is it that we accept that what they're doing with Denzel Mims and Bryce Huff, for that matter, does make sense? Why are we okay with that? You know what I mean? In my opinion, it falls right in line. And to answer your question, I think it'll probably be Bryce Huff, but I don't know if either one's going to make it in there too soon, Ryan.
100%. Brian Lemos drops in, says, what do you guys think about Zach sitting, even if he's healthy? I think if he's cleared, he's got to go. I'm sorry, but it's swim or drown. No more excuses. If he's not the guy, let's rip the Band-Aid. It's time. Oh, man, if we had to give up on our number 2 overall pick after just 2 years, I'd be really frustrated. But I do think he should play. Now, playing thrown in, I don't know if he's going to play, if he practices the full week. If he practices the full week and he's ready to go and he knows who his offensive linemen are and they're going to give him help on that side, I just don't want to see this dude get teed off on, because Zach, if I have to see him through, let's say he misses this week, and so he's missed 4 weeks, you have 13 games to grade him. Are you going to say, oh, well, if I had 14 games, I could have graded him well? I think if he's healthy and he's ready in practice and he's comfortable, put him out there. But if you think there's a chance that Brown can start, maybe against the Dolphins, then maybe you hold him out the 1 extra week and you do that and you get Brown back. But I don't know. What do you think? If Zach's healthy, is he going, Green Bean?
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's really interesting. I mean, they alluded to the fact that it's not the Jets holding him out. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's not the Jets. It's his doctors. So if his team is saying we don't want him to go in the offensive line and they're starting to think that way, like self-preservation, then we have huge problems. I hope that's not the case. I'm not convinced he's playing this week. That all said, if he's healthy, he plays. And it's the offensive coach's job to figure out a way to account for the weaknesses that we have, namely left tackle. You account for it. If you have to keep 2 tight ends in, you have to play 12 and 22 personnel all day long because you have to protect the quarterback, so be it. Let them chip and peel off into the flat. Let the running backs. You can do so much in that offense. Just do it. If that's what you have to do. It's the coach's job to protect Zach and not leave, Connor McDermott on an island against Alex Highsmith. He's going to get destroyed if that's what happens. So I think if Zach is ready, he plays, man. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I said it when the whole thing came out of like, oh, Zach's going to be out at least till week 4. I said it then, and I think it's more reinforced now. And it's someone got in the coach's ear. I think Zach probably said, oh, yeah, no, I'll be ready to go. And then the coaches were like, okay, yeah, he's going to be ready to go. They said it, out in public, like, oh, he might be ready for week 1. And then it sounds like an agent or a doctor came in and said, hey, look, Zach, remember, if you lose an ACL and now they don't know what's going on with you, like that could not end your career, but it could be a very serious situation. And I think it's, hey, let's protect him. And this is exactly what we don't want to have happen. This was what we were afraid of. Like, hey, if you're not going to protect me the way you didn't protect Sam Darnold and the way Geno Smith was not protected and the way, Sanchez eventually was not protected, like to me, I don't blame Zach because it's his career, his livelihood that he's rolling the dice on with the Jets here. I mean, this is a bad look for the Jets if it's really Zach's doctors holding him out.
Yep, you're 100% right, Ryan. Now, look, we don't want to jump all the way to that conclusion that that's what they're doing, but it's very possible, man. They're looking at this scenario and they're saying, okay, he hasn't played in 6 weeks. Okay, He played 2 drives, 2 series of the entire preseason and first quarter of the season. The offensive line is down to its 3rd string tackle and a rookie. And the interior is not necessarily. Lakin Tomlinson is not playing well. He's a kind of a question mark each week. You don't know what version you're going to get. And they're saying, and we're going to go against Pittsburgh. We're going to put him in against Pittsburgh and Miami. How about this? No. Fix the line, get everything in order, and then we'll clear our asset to come in. And that is a huge problem if that's what's going on. And that could be the great eroding, like the beginning of the degradation of this whole team unity thing. If that's going on, Brian, it's big.
Nose Kills drops in, says, I'm not excited because Zach is mobile. I'm excited because he can run and throw on the same day. When Flacco runs 10 degree cone, he can pass to. I'm not sure what that means. 10-degree cone he can pass to. I don't know. Nose Kills, I love you. Don't understand it. Joe S. says, the problem with Salah is he plays favoritism. Green Bean, do you feel that Salah is playing favoritism right now with his players? I feel like all coaches kind of get like in that trap. We saw Rex get stuck in that way. Do you think Salah's stuck there?
I do. I think that he is for some reason, his crew is like Ty Johnson, Nathan Shepard, LaMarcus Joyner, maybe Solomon Thomas, Quincy Williams. Like I think there are guys out there that are getting more. Corey Davis. They're getting significantly more benefit of the doubt than, in my opinion, is warranted. Like, why are we taking let me tell you something. Luke Grant did a short breakdown on Quinnen Williams and what he was actually doing all day. Dude, he was disrupting that pocket on almost every single play that he was in. He's the best player, at least in the interior of our defensive line, arguably on the entire defensive line. Why are we taking him out for 30% of the game? It's actually 33% of the game. I think it was 67%. We're taking Quinnen Williams out for 33% of the game for the likes of Nathan Shepard. Why? And that's the big question. I think there absolutely is favoritism.
Stifler's mom comes in and says, felt like they chose Flacco over our run game. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And they lose their defensive tackle halfway through the game. This guy's like a monster run stuffer. Yep. Run it down their friggin' throat. Run it behind AV2. 100%.
We said the same thing, Ryan. Come on, attack it. Like, did you see what the Cleveland Browns did when the fact that we had Max Mitchell over there who struggled week 1? Dude, they put Clowney and Garrett over top of him. Mm-hmm. They said, kill him. Blood in the water, shred him. And he did a good job. Him and AVT did a damn good job handling that. That's the truth of it. But they went for it. they went after the wound. We don't do that because we stick to our plan. Like there's very little real time, like, ooh, there's an opportunity, attack it. We don't do that. Remember last year with Stefan Diggs when we put Javelin Guidry in? We put Javelin Guidry in on the outside, which was a stupid move from the word go. They sent Stefan Diggs in the end zone. He caught it out of bounds. We kept the same alignment. They ran the same play. He caught it in the end zone that time for a touch. Two of the exact same play on Javelin Guidry. Why? Because that was the weak spot, and Buffalo knows to do that, and we don't. It's crazy.
Stifler's mom comes in, says, felt like, oh, nope, said that already, sorry. Chris Bradigan says, O-line or D-line, which one sucks more? It's gotta, God, it's O-line. Gotta be the O-line for me, I think. Greenbean, what about you?
O-line, man. I think the defensive line, I mean, are they what we wanted them to be and what we thought? Absolutely not. But if you take and rewatch the game and just focus on the defensive line, you'll see numerous plays where they are pressuring the living shit. Like if it's Quinnen Williams or Carl Lawson or Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson's playing really well too. If you watch it, they're doing a lot. It's the problem is the rotation and so Jermaine Johnson's pressuring, and then Nathan Shepard and Solomon Thomas can't do anything to assist him. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what's going on. We're not putting it together. But I think that the defensive line is significantly better than the offensive line right now. And that's mainly due to injuries. I mean, I think we had a very talented offensive line. It really sucks.
100%. Edward Ziff says, you can't get coverage sacks playing soft zone. Completely agree. Man up and send our 4 dogs with their ears pinned back. Greg says, I'm not sure anybody wants Salah to succeed more than me. You can see losing really hurts him. But he needs to put friendship and loyalty to veterans to the side and start coaching. I think he needs to start holding guys accountable. I think that, Matt was right earlier in this stream when he was saying that there is no accountability on that side of the ball.
Yeah. It's look, man, and like Greg is saying here, I think we all want Salah to succeed. And like Ryan said earlier, and I seconded, I'm definitely not at the place where I want to see Salah fired. I want to see this corrected. And I think that, what Robert Salah has to realize right now is that stoic kind of quiet, sitting on the sideline, doing nothing during the game. The only thing he does is he yells at the refs or he jumps up and down when we do something good. I mean, other than that, he's really not involved. And you could say that we don't know what he's doing, but he doesn't even speak. So like, who's he talking to? He might be listening to the calls and everything, but he's not actively involved. He's allowing everything just to be what it is. And I think that he needs to learn right now that if something's happening in real time, he needs to step in and say, didn't you notice this? Why aren't we doing that? He's got to do that. He's the boss. And I think that my hope is that he's realizing right now, holy shit, man, I'm in trouble here. I need to rise up and fix this. And I hope that he can. I don't want to fire. I don't want to start over, man. I want this staff to be the damn staff. We just have to fix it.
Brian Bogan says 22 goals. Zach Wilson does well and do better than New England. Yeah, I mean that's all I'm hoping for at this point. Like I'm not really looking for 500 anymore. I should be looking for 500 because if you're telling me we're 1-2 through 3 games, back in spring I'd be saying, okay, that's pretty decent. That's where I expect us to be. If we could be 2-2 after the Steeler game, I think that's where we're at. But we are literally one Chubb falling down on the 1 yard line away from being 0-3 right now. I think that's where the frustrating part comes in for me, Greenbean.
Yeah, you know what? And you're right. You're right. But at the same time, a game is a game. And let's not forget that we were 14-14 at the half, and we were able to drive down their throats at will. I mean, when the strip sack happened, we were on the 10-yard line. I mean, we played offensively. We played a damn good game. And that's what put us in the position when there was an opportunity to take advantage of it. And we still had to score those 13 points in the last minute and 55 seconds. So yes, you're not wrong. At the same time, I choose to believe like that is what's possible with this team. When they believe, And when they're firing on all cylinders, that's what we can do. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Elijah Moore. We have Breece Hall and Michael Carter. We have Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert and CJ Uzoma. And our offensive line like AVT and Conklin and McGovern and even Max Mitchell, they can play well. And if they do, if we assist them by smart plays, high percentage, quick stuff, give them the first down. Why are you throwing a 25-yard pass in the end zone when you need 2.5 feet? Get the 2 feet. Give them that. Let them roll down the field. Let them build their confidence. And I think that's where the coaching comes in again. Truth is, man, look, we can beat the Steelers. We can. If we whittle it down, simplify it so we can use one of these new tackles that we brought in this week. Just simplify it in such a way that their assignment is always the same. You know what I mean? Just take care of that. And we can beat them. If we come out of this quarter of the season 2-2, as even though we have all these issues, they're not gone. Dude, what an accomplishment that would be. Amazing.
Dak Milne's mom says, Green Bean, put those guns away. You're scaring the kids.
Yeah, when I had my sleeve. Yeah, that's right, bro. Come on. Boom. I crush a dude. I used to crush cans.
Show.
That's right. I'm old now. But I used to be strong, Ryan. You don't know, buddy. I was
Dude,
strong.
You still look strong.
Yeah,
you got that. You got dad strength right now.
Yeah. I have, you know that song by, I don't know, look, I'm not the biggest country fan, especially new country. I love old country, but there's a guy, Toby Keith, and he had that song, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. That's me. You know what I mean? I'm not as good as I once was, but I could, that little bit, if you want, I could roll around a little bit.
Got a puncher's chance, right?
Right, exactly, a puncher's chance. Thank you, Dax Milne's mom.
Boogie Down Bronx says Vic Fangio for DC. Oh, man. I don't know. Nicholas George the King says, here's $2 for your shitty Wi-Fi. Just playing. Love you guys. Dude, I legitimately have Optimum coming out tomorrow because I am spitting nails at these people. Like, I got 500 download. I got 40 upload. Like, this should not be happening. My internet's been dropping every single day, multiple times a day where I have to unplug my modem. And I'm about to go back to, DSL. Like, that's what I'm going to go back to because it was stable. I'll take 75 down, 10 up if it means I have a stable stream the entire time or a stable internet the entire time. I'm done with these clowns. I really am. God, I get fired up at these mother.
Well, you want to know what happened? So, Ryan, let me tell you. So, I try to get my podcast out. I have Patreon, the Beanbaggers. So, I like to give the tier 2 and 3 and a day early release of the podcast. So, I woke up at 8 a.m. after being up to 3 in the morning. I wake up, I record the podcast. So, I'm from 8 a.m. all the way till 2. I'm recording and editing. And then I start uploading from 2 o'clock until 8:58 it took me to upload the damn video to 2 o'clock. It was actually like 2:30 to 9 o'clock. It took, I just finally finished. And that's because I was moving around. I couldn't get internet anywhere. It was like being in the damn RV. So I was so frustrated today, man. I wanted to die. I was like, I can't believe I've been doing this for 12 hours to get a goddamn video out.
That's brutal.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I wish I had Fios by me. Like, I'm up in the sticks, and like I'm just lucky I got internet. Like, I'm not even like that far away. And like the old internet's, I don't know. I'm just gonna go back to DSL. I've been spitting nails so much. If they can't fix it tomorrow, I'm done with this shit.
Where you go to AT&T then? Is that what you do?
No, it's like a local DSL near here that like we had when I was like young. Like they're like, they cap it out, but it's like $30 a month. $30 a month for 75 down, 10 up, and it's super steady. Which is like, I think I'm paying $65 a month right now for good internet, but like the speed is only good if it's working. Like if the internet doesn't work and the speed doesn't do me any fucking good. I don't know. Pump Up the Champ says, why can't we make the obvious second half adjustments? Other teams make a slant play for 12 yards look smooth. We make it look like we make it look like it might be picked. Yeah, it feels like this is multiple coaching staffs now. You're going back to like Rex Ryan times. Like we have not had second half adjustments, I feel like, since Mangini. It has been a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what? While I agree with that overall, Greg Williams was good. Don't forget, he had this defense, a top 5 defense with a third of the talent that Salah has right now. You know what I mean? Like, look, Greg Williams is a live by the sword, die by the sword kind of guy, and that's kind of not really the NFL anymore. You know, just like you said about Rex, the NFL is passing these old heads by, and I agree with that. At the same time, Greg Williams, he wouldn't accept this. Like, he would get and if somebody, remember, he benched Tremaine Johnson week 1. He's like, dude, get it, playing like that, sit down. I don't care if you cost $15 million. Get off my field. And that's the kind of things that I think we're missing right now. So Greg Williams was a little bit of a hiatus from that, but you're right. Since really, Mangini, yeah, I mean, dude, Rex did it sometimes. I don't know. It's been, you know what I mean? He's stuck to his guns too. But the thing is with Rex's defenses is a lot of times he knew exactly what to do to beat somebody. I mean, you know, he had his clam games too. He had games where it looked like his defense was the worst in the league. But overall, Rex was, especially those first 3 years, Rex's defenses were mean, man. They were aggressive and they were dialed in most of the time. They were fun.
Kevin C says, maybe this was meant to be. Team looks lost. Salah's drowning. No better time for Zach to enter and save the team. It is his chance. He can be the hero. This is such bullshit. Like, I hate that we have to make Zach the hero. When we drafted him on draft night, this team's going to lift you up. It's not going to be the other way around. Right. Zach Wilson is going to be the only reason this team has success this year. Not the only reason, but like, we need him to be good for this team to have success.
Yeah. You're so right, man. That's such a great point. Like, think about it. We said, you're not coming here to lift us, to save this franchise. We're going to lift you up. What are we all saying right now? Zach's going to save it. Zach's going to be the difference maker. It's crazy. I mean, I wonder if LaFleur's going to make him throw 60 times a game. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy, man.
Got to run the rock. Crazy. I thought we were going to run the rock and use the tight ends. We haven't used either of them.
Dude, I know, dude. What happened? It's like we abandoned it, dude. We abandoned it. We have to stay. Dude, there's nothing more beneficial than a ball control offense. Sure, every now and then getting that exciting deep strike. Yes, you need to factor those in. Absolutely. There's nothing more demoralizing to a defense when you can get 4 to 8 yards a clip running and tight ending them, just punching them in the face, 10-minute drives. You know what I mean? The defense comes in all fresh and fired up. And then you come back and you just Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Ruckert, touchdown. You know what I mean? That's what you do. And it's like we just keep throwing the ball down the field. Like, I don't get it. It's 7-step drops. Our offensive line is struggling. 3-step drops, please. Slow the defense down. Settle them down. Make them pay for being aggressive. And then when they back up, then you got the running game again. I mean, again, I'm not a coach, but this is simple shit. In my opinion, the overall anyway, right?
I think so. Right. Harry W. dropping in says, stay safe to all our Floridian Jet fans and their families as we get ready for Hurricane Ian. Yes, my family's down there in the Sarasota, just south of Tampa area. It seems like it's going to go a little bit south, I think, is what it's looking like. Hopefully everyone's going to be all right down there. I know my brother and dad are battening down the hatches. They're shutting all the storm, shades or whatever the heck they got down there. So hopefully you guys stay safe as well.
Right. You too, Harry. You too. Harry's down there. Harry, you be safe too. Ryan, that's one of the main reasons I left. The last time with Irma, when I had to pack, I told you we didn't have power for like almost 2 weeks, and I had 115 drug addicts in early recovery. I was like, I literally said, like, when this is all over, I'm leaving. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. So I really feel for you guys. I hope everybody's safe. I hope your property and your homes stay safe as well. This shit can be scary, man.
Lima Bean says, JD waited too long to sign a new backup left tackle. No, he didn't. He didn't at all, because you have Dwayne Brown, who was brought in during the green and white scrimmage. So we knew we were going to be bringing this dude in. I had an argument with this on one of the guys in the forums. all Joe Douglas did this past offseason was bring in 2 Pro Bowlers from last year and draft the best tackle currently playing, or at least the tackle that's better than the top 3 guys that were drafted in this draft. And like, dudes got hurt. Like, I don't know what you can expect from Joe Douglas at this point. He drafted Elijah Vera Tucker, the dude's an all-pro. Connor McGovern's been playing top 10 center play. And like, Tomlinson is a shell of his former self. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's a tough one to swallow. And I think, I mean, look, I can't help but think he's going to get it. Like, I mean, it just might be he needs a few weeks to kind of settle into this. I mean, I don't know. I hope, but you're right. It's like, look, here's where I have a problem with Joe Douglas. And I want to make sure that I'm not like making excuses. Like, I try to stay in reality as best I can, right? The truth is I was totally fine with not taking a first round tackle. Most of you guys know that. The reason being, we had George Fant and Mekhi Becton on the roster, and we had legitimate holes, edge rusher and elsewhere, right? So that's fine. Once Becton went down, that's when the really aggressive push for more tackles should have come in. Now, he did sign Dwayne Brown, just like you said, and he gets hurt in his first week here. The guy's never hurt. So that's one of the things. It's hard to foresee that, right? So now we're down 2. Then George Fant, who was kind of nursing an injury, he goes down. Thank goodness Joe Douglas picked a good one in Max Mitchell in the 4th round, and he's playing well. If not, we'd be in big trouble. But the fact that he let Chuma Edoga go, when I add a Connor McDermott or Chuma Edoga, I take Edoga. He's got way more NFL experience. I don't love Chuma Edoga, but I'd feel better with him in there than Connor McDermott. But so that's where I have the problem. It's like Mike Remmers, he should have been brought in 2 weeks ago, in my opinion. That's the thing. I feel like there was a hesitancy, and it's not the draft. It's not the offseason. I think we did a good job, fortifying the position. But I feel like these last few weeks, months, I feel like Joe Douglas dragged his ass a little bit, and that's what we're seeing, and now we're in panic mode.
Mike B, hi-ho Jets fan, says, Flacco played like he could care less. He played like a hostage and had no choice but to play. He was simply launching the ball with no one even in the vicinity to catch the ball. Thanks, guys. Go Jets. I think the one play to me that stuck out like a sore thumb was the first interception when he lobbed the ball up to Berrios, covered by 3 dudes. I'm looking one, why is Berrios going after a jump ball in the middle of the field? And 2, what are you looking at that makes you think you can thread the needle between 3 dudes anyway? Like that, to me, Flacco looks disinterested. It looks like a guy who's here. He's like, hey, man, I was here to be the veteran leader. I shouldn't be on the field. Like Mike White to me feels like the guy that wants to try and prove something. Like if Zach's concerned about his health, put Mike White out there. I want to see someone who wants to win, and I feel like White is the guy. Screw it, Strevler.
Yeah, I was just say or Strevler, right? Somebody. I mean, look, I do understand what they're doing with that. I do understand why Flacco is the second quarterback and why I do get it. I mean, and you see it at times. He still has his arm, and at times he can be accurate. But in the when the halftime came in the last game, you could see it all over the place. Joe Flacco is toast. At least in this game, get Mike White in. Just give the team a spark. Give them something. And last year, it just so happens we're playing the team that he had a Hall of Fame game against last year. Maybe he just has their number. Try it. Try it. Nope.
Yeah.
And Salah said he never even considered it. Why not? Why?
Yeah. What the hell is Flacco going to show you right now? He's not long for this team. You gave the tender to Mike White $2.5 million to be a third string fucking backup quarterback. Come on.
Yeah, dude. Makes no sense. And that's the thing. You didn't even consider it. Why not? Why aren't you considering 1,000 different scenarios? That's, to me, that just backs up what we're seeing with Salah on the field, which is so bothersome, Ryan. It's like he's just standing. He's not even considering adjusting anything. And he went out and said it. I didn't even consider taking Joe Flacco out. No?
That's a joke.
Why not? Yeah. I mean, even if you choose not to, you at least consider it, explore it. What's the pros and cons? You know what I mean? Nothing. I don't get it, man. And it's concerning. It is. And again, I want to make sure we say you and I, at least I don't want to speak for you, but from what you said before, we're not trying to throw Salah under the bus here. It's just that there are concerns and we have to speak on it.
Mumtaz comes in and says, offense looks like same old Jets. Why did it feel like Bengals were playing with 15 players on defense, every pass covered, and running backs have no room to run? Need to change some things. Also, Zach needs armor. We need to put this dude in a bubble. I swear, if this dude goes down and he misses like the season because of this offensive line, I am going to go on the most epic rant of all time. I'm going to lose my fucking cool. I can't have this happen. I cannot have this happen. But yeah, Mumtaz, I feel the same way. This feels very same old Jetsy to me. And I thought this was going to be the season we leave the same old Jets behind. Green Bean, how you feeling about the same old Jets?
That's a funny comment. I like the last thing, Mumtaz. Mumtaz, you're the best, bro. You know, you really are. Zach needs arm, right? Bubble wrap, something, something. But that's the thing. Like, we have an opportunity to adjust and protect him, max protect. If that's what it is, then that's what you got to do. Like, you can't just roll out with your offense when you have certain deficiencies that have presented themselves. You have to account for that. Now, I get it, Mumtaz. Why does it look like the same old Jets? Why is it, if it's Flacco, if it's Sam, if it's McCown, if it's Zach, why does it all look the same? If it's Salah, if it's Bowles, if it's Gase, why does it look the same? If it's McCagan, if it's Douglas, if it's Idzik, if it's Tanny, why does it look the same? And I don't have an answer. I really don't. Again, I'm convinced, I am confident, I don't even think it can be argued that the talent on this team has been significantly upgraded in the last 2 seasons. Significant. It's not even in the same stratosphere. But yet the results, the product, it looks the same. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, it doesn't fucking matter. CJ Mosley, it doesn't matter. It looks the same. And I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. I don't get it.
J-Boy says, getting Zach back opens up the playbook. I do think it alludes, I shouldn't say it alludes, but it allows the threat of like an RPO or something. Not that I want to see a dude with a bum knee start running the ball, but I do think it opens up the playbook a little bit. RJ McPott says, who would you like to see as a good replacement swing tackle? Done with Fant. Hopefully Becton is healthy next year. Think Max can play left tackle too. I like Mitchell playing on the right-hand side next to AVT, who is playing at an all-pro level right now. I think you continue that on that side. And I think you just add more help on the left-hand side. I don't think there should be any situation where there's not a tight end or a running back hitting whoever is coming off the left-hand side. There should not be one-on-one matchups with McDermott, with anyone who's going to be on the left-hand side. So that's just my thoughts on that. But swing tackle wise, I have no idea where they wind up going. Mumtaz drops in with another super chat, says, but running game is what is not working because they do try, and after first 2 downs, it becomes 3rd and long. Then other team knows pass is coming and it won't be deep because O-line can't block that long. I think there's a combination that needs to happen. And I think you can have passes that are almost like running the ball without having to hand the ball off. And I think there's opportunities for screenplays, for, quick slants, for outs. Like Flacco had Breece Hall on a 3rd down play wide open. He threw it behind him and low, and Breece, if he got his hands on it, should have caught it, but like still a tough pass. We could get first downs. We're just missing on some things right here. Green Bean, how do you feel about our offensive line or about the inability to run on 1st and 2nd down that leads us into these long 3rd down plays?
Well, again, I mean, I think, I understand, when you have injuries, just like we're talking about, like, people say we should have drafted Icky and all that sort of stuff. Like what we did is essentially the same thing. We just didn't use a 1st-round pick. We have a guy playing well, better than Icky and Neal and all that sort of stuff. So that's fine. But when you look at the struggles of the offense, it's my very strong opinion that it's our lack of addressing the ups and downs of both the injuries, the limitations on players, the flow of the game. Like, hey, sometimes like you think you're going to have a Garrett Wilson game, but it just so happens that Berrios is hotter. So what do? Fucking feed Berrios. Let him see. He's in the zone. Yeah, and you have to be able to identify those things. I don't think that we're doing a very good job doing that, and I think that LaFleur is sort of playing. I mean, I'll just say this. I'm not sure if this is exactly it, but I feel like he's playing scared. Like, why are we throwing 60 times a game every game? Like that game, we were 2 scores behind with the entire half left. Like, start the half and own the clock. Just own it. You start running the damn ball, get creative, and use these plays to get your running backs in some space, because we have 2 incredibly talented. Michael Carter impresses me more and more every week. The guy does not get hit. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't go down with the first contact. He's able to shrink and slither through things in such a way. It's innate, Ryan. Like, it's not something that can be taught. I think it's just something he has. And like,
he's like a cat that can slide underneath a door. Like, that's dude squeaks out of the tiniest of holes.
Yeah, I mean, and so like, why aren't we capitalizing on that? Get him the ball. Now, look, we tried to do that with Breece Hall. If Flacco would have hit him, I still think Breece Hall should have caught that pass. I do. I still think, but it was a very difficult pass, and it was not a good pass. Let's just say that. If he would have just hit him, dude, that was a touchdown, or at bare minimum was a first down and a whole bunch of fun yards. You know what I mean? So I think like if the running game is not working right away, at least still get those guys involved so we can cool the defense off and then start to utilize the running game again. 60 pass plays a game is not good, dude. It's not good, especially when we're struggling like that. We can't even hit anybody. Why are we going back to the thing that's not working? It's like the Elijah Moore play down the sideline. I don't understand.
Ablab comes in and says, Tomlin doesn't have the talent Salah has, but Tomlin can coach circles around the best of them. This game has the potential of a truly exposing Salah's inept leadership. Tomlin's a top 5 coach. This guy, I did not give him the credit he deserved until I saw Le'Veon Bell come here and Antonio Brown leave Pittsburgh. Once I saw those guys leave and I saw what he was able to contain and keep bottled up and all the issues that those players could possibly create. Look, Tomlin's a top 5 coach. I think the Steelers are lucky to have him, and I would love to have a coach of half the caliber that he is. Green Bean, you think Tomlin's going to coach circles around us this week?
I think he can, man. And that's the thing, like, you brought up Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, but let's be real. They've been doing this forever. I mean, even back to the days of like Greg Lloyd. Greg Lloyd was the best edge rusher in the entire league. He leaves. He's kind of average. Kevin Green comes in. He's the best damn pass rusher in the entire league. He leaves. And the next guy comes, then it's James Harrison, and then he's the best damn thing. And it happens every year. And then you look at their wide receivers, whether it's what the hell was the guy's name? Mike Smith or Emmanuel Sanders. It never stops. The next guy up is able to be just as good, if not better, than the guy who just left. They very rarely go out there.
Santonio Holmes, Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson.
Goes on and on and on.
Chase Claypool. You're going to have Pickens eventually. Right. Like, just a pipeline of guys.
Right, and it never stops. And that's like when we talk about the limitations of our coaching right now. And look, I think most of us are willing to kind of suspend the idea that they're going to be as good as somebody like a Tomlin. But when you look across town and you see what Brian Daboll's doing with the Giants, or you look down in Miami and you see what Mike McDaniel is doing with the Dolphins, or you look over in Philadelphia and you see what Sirianni's doing, or you look at Cincinnati, you see what Zach Taylor, like, you can see, like, okay, if it takes a couple years, that's fine. But again, we're talking about being the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL for 21 straight games. Like, that is not okay, man, especially when you've added 8 new quality players. And you look, somebody might not like 1 or 2, but you can't deny that they're upgrades. You can't deny it, man. And 5 first-round picks. And it's like, so that's the difference. When you see the Steelers and the Ravens do the same thing, Ryan. You know what I mean? Like they lose guys every year, and the guy that comes in, he's just as good, if not better, because the system and the coaching, they know what they're doing. We don't. We don't know what we're doing, and you're seeing the results.
Edward Ziff says, Joe Flacco slow dropping back to pass, slow on his reads, and late getting the ball to open receivers. Yeah, look, I'm done with the Joe Flacco experience. I would like to see Mike White if Zach Wilson's not going to be able to go. Siobhan Shu says, after Dwayne's injury, JD waited too long. JD, you have Fant, you drafted Mitchell. We don't have much salary cap space left. Like, we gave the rest of it to Dwayne Brown, and it just burnt us between him and Becton. Like, these guys were not injury prone prior to us getting them. And then they go down, and it's crippling. I understand if you don't like the Becton pick from its inception. Like, we were all saying we want Wirfs. It was the safer pick. We thought it was the right move. We went with Becton. High upside guy. Guy was electric his first year. The upside was there, clearly there. Injury was not a concern. It was the size, the weight, like that stuff was a concern. Should have had a nutritionist from the very beginning. The knee injuries, that wasn't a thing. That didn't happen until after he was drafted here. Like, I don't blame Joe Douglas for this. He has thrown so much money at this offensive line, and it's not like they're bad players. It's just guys just don't perform here. I can't figure out why. I don't know. Joe S. says, what impact has Salah done in 20 games so far? The impact that we've seen from Salah, I don't know if it's necessarily on the field, which is incredibly frustrating. So I completely understand fans being upset with this. But the impact that Salah has had is this organization isn't viewed from players and outsiders as a laughing stock, really. Like, you have Quan Alexander coming to play for Robert Salah. You have Carl Lawson wanting to come and play for Robert Salah. You have Tomlinson. You have Solomon Thomas. Like, there's a lot of players that are coming to play for Robert Salah. Now, you have to get the play out of them, which is where I think all of us are frustrated. But I think that is the appeal of Salah. He's a player's coach. Guys want to play for him. I just don't understand why we're not seeing the results. So I think that's incredibly frustrating. Green Bean, your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? Here, let me say this too. Like, I definitely think the culture has changed, right? I think that their focus on the specific type of player has paid dividends. I do, as far as culture and laughing stock and all that. But I'm going to say this: Quinnen Williams having that blow up with his coach on the sideline that's a window into something that's bigger. Okay, that's not just there's something there that blew up. Okay, there's some now. And then after the game, when DJ Reed says we have to have a meeting, and he says the coaches, the players, and everybody, that's, in my opinion, that dovetails, that's connected to the Quinnen Williams thing. Okay. And then you have guys, like Denzel Mims asking for a trade. You have the Zach Wilson doctor thing. Like, there's some stuff going on here. I do think that they've changed the culture, but I don't think that it's strong enough. The foundation is strong enough to weather this type of shit. And that's the thing, like the losing and the lack of accountability, the lack of being able to adjust and mold around the talents of the team. I think that that's going to wear down. Like, the culture is good. The culture is changed. It's strong, but consistently losing, I don't think it's that strong. I think it's going to erode very, very quickly, and we're already seeing it. Quinnen Williams is, bless you, thank you, man. He's a sweetheart. Why is he looking like a monster, ready to choke out his defensive line coach? What is that? You know what I mean? What's going on here? Now, we know what it is, but what is it really? What's going on here? So I think that we're seeing some cracks in the foundation, and I hope they don't grow any bigger, man. I hope they take care of this. I don't want to see a complete implosion here.
Yeah, dude, DJ Reed had the same comments. He's like, oh, the players and coaches have to get together to clarify things. Like, that's a red flag.
Right.
It absolutely is. When you start dropping the coach name, it's like, hey, look, maybe we got to work some stuff out. Not great, not great. Charles Gorman says, I'm done with this coaching staff. Sorry, I'm done. I don't want to be done yet. I want to give them time to figure it out. I do think stability is key in the NFL. V-Man says, Steelers are notorious for playing down to the competition and are winless. When TJ Watt is injured, Jets should be competitive in this game. They're winless until this week. The Jets have to find a way to dominate this team, especially if you get Zach Wilson back. Like there has to be some life if you want to have any shot going into that Miami game. Like right now, Miami is in another league. We're not even close to Miami or Buffalo right now. Those two teams are going to absolutely destroy the Jets if we continue on this path.
Yeah.
Adam S. says 1 and 2, and Zach is coming back. Not all bad. Up from here. That's a glass half full kind of a guy, and glass half full kind of a guy, and I really do appreciate that. But dude, I'm not. I want to be optimistic, but I'm not as optimistic until I actually see some results on the field. Mumtaz says inexplicable. How workhorses like Tomlinson and Whitehead and a guy who led the league by a big margin in pressures, such as Lawson, can't produce for us. We all loved our offseason, so it is hard to blame Joe Douglas. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
yeah.
If this season falls apart and the coaching staff falls apart and Zach Wilson doesn't do well, like, I'll be honest, I don't want to lose Joe Douglas. Like, I think he's a really good GM. I would be infuriated. That's part of the reason why I want Salah to work out, is because you lose Douglas. How long have we gone with incompetent GMs? Joe Douglas is the dude. He's gotten us good talent via waiver wire, via trade, via free agents. Like we all agree the talent is there. If you're not, if you have all the ingredients and the cook in the kitchen is not able to make a good recipe, don't blame the person that did the shopping, that got all the groceries, that have the good, the goods there.
That's right. I love it. I love how you put that. Right. He went out and got the finest ingredients. The cook burnt it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is it the guy who went and got the groceries? Now look, and that's not to say Joe Douglas is perfect, right, Ryan? I mean, look, we're here talking about, I thought he was a little bit too hesitant to backfill the tackle position. Like what we saw today, he went out there and he got, yesterday and today, he went out there in 24 hours and got 2 new tackles. That's what I think should have happened 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? 3 weeks ago. That's honestly, and I think that, we've seen him do that a couple times, like with the kickers. We've seen it a few times. Like he kind of is a little bit slow to the punch. Now, maybe he's unable to get things done. He's working on it, and that's all possible. But I still think overall, even with mistakes, don't forget, this is his first time being a general manager. So when you look at the first, 2020 and the coaches, there's going to be mistakes, and that's fine. But it's hard for me to look at everything he's done and say, yeah, this guy needs to get fired. Like, even if Salah goes and Zach isn't the guy, I still think Joe Douglas is a quality GM who knows what the hell he's doing, and he just might need a couple swings.
MC Lean says my super chat from about the D-line didn't make it from part 1. I thought I hit it. I must have missed it. So here's the comment. Rotations make zero sense when they get winded. Running back and fourth on and off the field every other play instead of staying on. Keep the best players on the field. Yeah. Hey, every time they run on and off the field, that's an extra 50-yard sprint. Stay on the field. Run the 10 yards. Get to the quarterback.
You're burning everybody out with these running back and forth from the sideline. Yeah. I mean, look, he's saying it perfectly, dude. Keep the best players on the field. I mean, is that so hard?
No.
Is that so hard?
Be.
Yeah. Again, dude, guys, I'm telling you, when you watch the sack exchange, most of the game, 90%, 94% of the game, Gastineau, Klecko, Lyons, and Salam were on the field. When you look at the really good defensive line, we had the 90s with Lageman, Bird, and Mercereau and Washington. Dude, they played 90% of the game. I mean, they came out for a rest here and there. You got to do that. That's fine. But most of the time they were out there. Why? Because they were the best players we have. Look at Rex's teams. He had Trevor, Price, and whoever else was on the end. We had Puha and DeVito out there all day long. Why? Because they were important to his scheme. He had the 4 linebackers doing other things, but he had his line. They clogged that run all day long. He rarely, he kept his best guys on the field. And that's what I don't understand the logic here, especially when the guy they chose to keep, like in Nathan Shepard, isn't even the guy we should have kept. And we're doing this for him.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any Are there any analytics to back this up? This feels very like this style of defensive line rotation feels very much like the third time through the lineup for baseball. Like why pitchers get pulled instead of going 7, innings deep into a game. At least there's stats to back it up. Like, hey, third time through the rotation, they just know what you're going to throw at them. Is there that data to back up what we're doing right now? Because it certainly doesn't feel like it. Shivanshu drops in, says, the new 2 left tackles we just signed should have happened last week. At least
Agreed.
Connor shouldn't have been our backup behind Fant after Dwayne went down. I don't know what our salary cap is. It's gotta be low. Like, you're not finding good players at this point in the season. Like, let the guys that you have in-house attempt to play backup first before you start worrying about like, oh, hey, we need a guy for the backup of our backup of our backup. Like, I can't get on Douglas for that. He brought in 3 quality, or not brought in, he had 3 quality tackles in Becton, Brown, and Fant, and all 3 are gone.
Right.
I got nothing else to say on that.
Yeah. I mean, but I do agree. Like, I think that last week at least, like, when we knew that Fant's kind of nursing an injury, he hasn't practiced fully in 3 weeks. Like, we got to wait until Thursday, Friday to put him out on the field. So that's dangerous. Like, it. And Connor McDermott being really the only guy as a backup. Who's our backup right tackle? Who the hell we have over there? I don't even know who it is. Do we have
probably
one?
McDermott. That's probably who it is. McDermott's a tackle on both sides.
Right. So that's, I think, what MC Lean, I think it was, is saying. It's like, and I agree with that. Like, I have no problem with not using the first round of the draft for tackle. I have no problem with that. I loved the idea of getting a tackle, whether it was 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. We ended up not having our 5th round picks because of the trade ups. That's fine. I loved that whole thing. I'm fine with it. But again, when Becton went down, we got Dwayne Brown. When he went down and George Fant's, knee is gone, I think he should have been doing what he did today and yesterday. He should have did that 2-3 weeks ago. That's my opinion. So, hey, better late than never, sure. But again, I would really feel good knowing that, Mike Remmers or Ubagabagubel came in and they're already on the roster for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They've been absorbing it. That's what I want. I feel better about that.
Brandon Frey says, I don't know what's worse, that I'm about to be slammed by Hurricane Ian or that I have to watch the Jets on Sunday. Dude, I feel bad. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll get slammed by Hurricane Ian. You'll be out of power and you won't have to watch the Jets on Sunday. Sorry. That's not real funny, but it is what it is.
Yeah. There's a comment too by Hawk. He says, Salah thinks effort equals talent. I think that's really a good way to say it. Like when you look at a guy like, and just an example, like Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims is a very mild-mannered, kind of introverted guy. But when you put him on the field, he's a gamer. You know what I mean? He is. And yes, he had his mistake. He had his problems last year. That's fine. But I think like he's looking at like a Nathan Shepard and a Jeff Smith in practice. Jeff Smith has never done a goddamn thing. He did that fake punt 2 weeks ago. Great. Fantastic. Anybody could have caught that. That could have been Berrios. It could have been Mims. It could have been anybody. That's not enough reason to keep a talent like Denzel Mims. But maybe in practice, Denzel Mims doesn't look the same. So he's in the doghouse. Ty Johnson, real good practice. Put him in a game. He drops 3rd down passes. That's what he does. And I think that's a good way to say it, Hawk. I think that's kind of one of the issues. He equates work effort with talent, and that's not necessarily the case all the time.
Ablab comes in and says, Douglas will fire Salah before he gets fired. He is cold-blooded and won't hesitate to fire him if we have 6 wins or less. Book it. Man, if Joe Douglas pulls the trigger on Robert Salah, how long was Salah's contract? Was it 5 years or was it 4 years? Man, dude, I don't see the Johnsons.
I know.
Look, we're still paying Gase. We're still paying Salah.
No, not
after
anymore.
This year.
We're done.
I think Gase is this year still. I think Gase had a 4-year contract. I think after this year, it would be Salah as the only head coach we're paying. Like, if you have an opportunity where you think you can get Sean Payton, you do whatever you can to get him.
Got to do it. $30 million a year.
Yep, whatever it takes to get him. But if you swing and you miss, now you're in a world of hurt because now all of a sudden you've pissed off a coach that a lot of people were very high on. that, just hasn't worked out. I hope Salah can turn it around because I want him to be the guy. I really do. I do enjoy him as the head coach.
Me too. I want him to work too. I'm looking up his salary right now. I think he makes $5 million a year too. Holy shit.
So
Salah Salah is already making more money than playing. He spent the Jets haven't. Okay, wait. Yep, $5 million a year for 5 years.
So it's rumored that some of the big head coaches, I don't know what Belichick's getting, but I know Gruden was getting $10 million a year. Like if you bring in Sean Payton, you're giving him $10 million a year, and I don't give a shit about Woody Johnson's money. Like, dude's a billionaire. Pay the dude $10 million a year. There is no salary cap on coaches. Do whatever you have to get a Hall of Fame caliber coach in here, especially a guy with such a strong offensive background.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, if Sean Payton was here, we already know what he's going to bring. He's a known commodity. If you got to pay him $15 million a year, you pay him. Belichick's making $12.5 a year. Pete Carroll 11, Shanahan 9.5. Sean McVay is making 15 to 18 million.
Holy hell! You got to pay the coach.
Is making 8.5. Tomlin's 8 million. McDermott's 8 million.
Damn. Yeah. So we're low on the totem pole. There's no reason you can't throw money at Peyton.
Right. Nick Sirianni's making between 6 and 7. Kingsbury's making 5.5. Matt LaFleur makes 5. And Salah makes 5. And then Zach Taylor, 4.5. Mike McCarthy, 4. Nathaniel Hackett, 4. Stefanski, 3.5. So he's like in the middle. You know what I mean? He's the 15th highest paid coach in the league. So, that's still a lot. $5 million for a coach. But, dude, if you have it shouldn't even be Joe Douglas. It should be Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson should call Sean Payton and say, hey, look, I have an incredibly talented team. I have an incredibly talented general manager. We may have swung and missed. We would love to bring you here. The thing is, Sean Payton might not want a general manager. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Is he going to want to be the GM and the head coach at the same time? I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Do you move on from Douglas so Peyton can do both? Did Peyton do both? I don't think Peyton did both in New Orleans. I think he had a GM. Wasn't Mickey Loomis the GM?
But I mean, I honestly I don't know. I think it was Loomis. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure it was. Mumtaz drops in and says, sorry for over chatting, but how come other teams are paying players like 30, 40, 50 million and some doing that for multiple players, and we are barely giving big money to players and still keep running out of dollars? The salary cap is a goddamn myth. I feel like I know the salary cap really well, and then friggin' other teams are $100 million, void year. And then all of a sudden they have anyone. They've got any player they want. Now, it should eventually hurt your cap. I think, was it Brown? I think Brown did the void years. I think there was 2 or 3 void years at the end of it to stretch his salary cap out a little bit more. But that's what it is. You add void years and it stretches the signing bonus out, and then all of a sudden you have a lower salary cap hit than you otherwise would have. But that's for teams that are winning. We shouldn't be doing that just yet. Just to
right.
Get an offensive tackle that would be the 5th one on our team at this point.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good point, and I agree with that. And speaking of the devil, we were just talking about the Saints. I mean, the Saints were $109 million over the salary cap 2 years ago, and they got under it without losing anybody. They got under it without losing anybody. So that's Mickey Loomis for you. So I mean, he's considered one of the best GMs in the league. Now I don't know, if Sean Payton, that's a different story. You look at Mickey Loomis versus Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas isn't necessarily a known commodity yet in the same way. But yeah, man. I mean, the salary cap thing. Don't forget. I mean, this is one thing that is real. Is Joe Douglas was tasked with cleaning this first. You know what I mean? He had, the most dead cap in the league. You know what I mean? And that was this was the first year he didn't have dead cap from the McCagnon era. So we have to remember that, I think he's done a decent job, but it does seem like we're a little bit more honest than maybe some of the other teams. They're able to figure it out when we're not. But we just saw Joe Douglas do exactly that with CJ Mosley. So it's happening. He's doing it. I think, again, we just got to allow this process in some respects. He came here, it was a complete shit show, and he had to gut it and kind of reset it to a foundation of, like a baseline. And then we'll see, I guess, where he could do it. I think he's done a decent job with all that in the contracts. At least one thing you can say, he's never really tied to anybody. If he wants to get rid of him, he gets rid of him. You know what I mean? Without any dead money, which is nice to see.
Joe S. says, Salah said he doesn't need to motivate players. He clearly does. He clearly does. I know the thought process is he shouldn't have to motivate players. I think that's where it is. But I think if you're getting the effort you're getting right now, you got to be able to motivate them. Chris KV says, is Peyton a head coach and Salah defensive coordinator an option? No, absolutely not. You cannot keep a former head coach. It's the same reason we said, hey, we would love to have Rex as defensive coordinator. You can't keep Rex without undermining the new head coach. If Salah is not the head coach, he's got to be gone along with the rest of his staff, and he'll allow the new guy to come in and bring in whoever he wants. But I just hope we can turn it around. I really do. Green Bean, I'm going to have you go to last week's stream because we're at the end of this, and I want to get these last few super chats in. So if you can go to last week's stream, we're going to pick 5 qualifiers from the comment section there. Mike Jerome says, I like Lakin, but I think playing next to an all-pro left tackle in Trent made him look a bit better than he was. Same concept with AVT. Also, our offensive line throwing 50 times is a recipe for failure. I completely agree with you. I think Tomlinson had the benefit of playing next to Trent Williams. Was that the name I'm losing right now? The all-pro tackle that was brought over to the 49ers last year. I think that name's right. That sounds right in my head. Same thing with AVT. AVT playing on the left-hand side with Fant maybe made Fant look a lot better. I think AVT may be making Mitchell look a little bit better than he is right now. And I think that is key. Now, it sucks that Tomlinson's not playing up to par, but dude, I completely agree with you on this stance. Mike Jerome drops in with another super chat, says, also, we need to pound the rock and play action. JJ Davis, Parks need more playing time. Joyner has to go. We need more man-to-man. Joyner must be off the field, 100%. I want to see Davis on the field more or Parks, either one. Totally. JJ, I don't mind seeing JJ on earlier downs. I don't know if he necessarily has the pass rushing repertoire right now that Carl Lawson and maybe even someone like Michael Clemens may have. I would like to see Huff ahead of JJ for sure with Lawson. And then I would like to see maybe Clemens and JJ spell those guys. But yeah, running the rock and play action and, utilizing the tight ends, that's what I thought we were signing up for. When I said this team is vastly improved from last year and we're going to see an entirely new offense than we saw all of last year, I have not seen that at all this year.
No.
Sucks.
I'm with you, Ryan. I'm with you.
Stifler's mom says, I don't know, man. It just seems like we trust Flacco more than our run game. I don't know. Do we trust him more than our run game, or do we trust him more than our offensive line? It's weird. It feels odd. Like Brees hasn't really been the dude, but he's looked better the last week and a half or so. Michael Carter is shifty, and I feel like you can get him in space. And then you have Fant getting a holding penalty 2 games ago when Michael Carter has a nice little 15, 20-yard run. I think our offense is the crux of most of this. I think we trust our running game, but I think we trust Flacco to get the ball to our weapons more than we trust our running backs being able to run behind our offensive line. God, that's infuriating. All right, Green Bean, you got 5 names for me?
Yep. Let's see.
All right, fire away.
I'm going from the top down. Let's go with Rich Dubeau, Dubeau. Good luck, Rich.
What is it?
Dubeau, Dubeau.
All right. Next one.
Happy tanking. It's a good one. Let's go with Dave Pockets.
Pockets.
Yeah.
All right.
Eric Craig. He's back in the mix.
Love it. And
then we have Kenneth Duffy.
Kenneth Duffy also retweeted the stream like a boss, so I'm glad he got picked in that. I picked Sam Asim-Akur, Racing Jason, and Yanks Win Again as our qualifiers from the retweeting of the stream. So let's do a little odds or evens right now. Green bean, 3, 2, 1. That's an even. Asa McCurr, gone. Yanks, win again, gone. Happy tanking, Eric Craig, gone. 3, 2, 1. That's an odd. Sam, gone. Rich DeBow, gone. Kenneth Duffy, gone. We're down to 2. Racing, Jason, and Dave Pockets. Chat, give us a number. Green bean, 3, 2, 1. That's an 8. 8 plus... What's the first number we're getting? 8 plus 8, 16. It's an even number. Ooh, we got Racing Jason. Racing Jason, reach out to me on Twitter. Let me get your information. I will send you a shirt. That is very, very cool, and I think you will enjoy wearing it. But Green Bean, we have reached the end of our show, so I want to get your closing thoughts. Tell us what you got going on.
Well, it's nice to be able to vent like this. You know, obviously we're all kind of disappointed, so it's good to be able to just kind of get it out and throw it around. The hope is that we can turn it around. Tomorrow morning is the release of number 85, episode 85 of Green Beans Jets Pod. We're going to dig into what the real problems are with this team and maybe even some solutions. That'll be out at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Beanbaggers, it's already in your email. You can watch that. But yeah, that's what's going on. I hope everybody has a great week and we'll beat the damn Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday.
Hell yeah, I love it. Boys and girls, thank you so much for flying with us tonight. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Tell a friend that you like the Talking Jets panel. Get some more guys in here, girls in here as well. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, we're going to be celebrating a victory Sunday, Monday, Tuesday this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on, boys and girls. Thank you for flying with us. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.